Welcome back to a new part, my dears. Welcome back to a new part of the dementia and the stages of dementia. We'll talk right now about the stages, the dementia stages, the stages of dementia, how it looks like, and what is the main stages of dementia. What are the main stages of dementia? That's what we will handle right now. Let me just share the screen and we put the recording, that's fine. So we will go now to the stages of dementia and look around and see what is the meaning of the stages of dementia and how it works like. For the stages of dementia, we have three stages. Actually, we have the early stage and the middle stage and the late stage. The early stage, mild changes in memory and thinking, like what we see here in front of us. We have mild changes in memory and thinking, some difficulties with daily tasks. But still here, the role of the supervisor here or the PSW or the healthcare giver is just to support and to watch any changes and to record any changes happened in the case of the patient. The concerns plan now for future changes with the beloved and the family members, how it will be like. Evaluate risk at home. Then these can be things like car keys, guns, or other household appliances. Plan to the future change at home. So that's what we will do in the early stage, in the early stage. Second stage is the middle stage, the symptoms here in the middle stage is moderate changes in memory and thinking. May have behavioral changes, like there's some behavior changes, hostility, agitation, anger, paranoia, and hallucinations as well. This is in the middle stage. The concerns in this stage can often no longer leave alone. Now, the patient need supporting. The patient is not totally independent. No, the patient is dependent now. Even in his mobility, he needs someone to support him to go to the washroom or whatever, to be supervising him, to watch him, to check out, to record any changes in his own mood or in his own temper or on the habits or whatever. The action here, limit unsupervised access to firearms and driving, supervision when at home or supervised when at home. So there will be a supervising here in the middle stage. In the late stage, symptoms are severe changes in memory and thinking, may have behavioral changes, need help with most or all daily tasks. This is another point. The concerns here, needs full-time support here. Ensure no access to firearms and driving requires full-time supervision as well. Here also, there must be a full-time supervision. Here, in this stage, in the late stage, totally dependent. The patient is totally dependent here. Okay. I just brought also another slide. It's from Homage. And I put for you the link for this slide as well. And here, the stages of dementia is divided into mild dementia, moderate dementia, and severe dementia. We have three types of dementia here: the mild dementia, the moderate dementia, and severe dementia. On the mild dementia stage, largely able to function independently. Still, he is able or she is able to depend on herself or himself. Occasional forgetfulness. In this stage, in the mild dementia, there is occasional forgetfulness, confusion, and lapse in judgment. But in the moderate dementia stage, the second stage is the moderate dementia stage here, the moderate dementia. May require assistance with daily activities. Here, he is partially dependent and partially independent. So he still needs support and he needs help here. May require assistance with daily activities, greater extent of memory loss, and other symptoms including sundowning. The sundowning, the person and the sundowning, like we said before, person has some changes in his behavior. He become more aggressive. He abuse. It happened to me personally in one of the hospitals here that I had a sundown payment like this, sundown case like this, and he's having kidney dysfunction, and he goes to hemodialysis. And that case in the nighttime, he was very, very aggressive and try to fight with his hands and try to hit the people. But other times, like, he's very nice. This is we call it the sundowning. Severe dementia. The severe dementia, this is the last stage, or like here in the later stage. It's exactly like the later stage here. But I'm just showing you from many slides and from many prospects the difference between them. Round-the-clock care required. This is 100%. 24/7 by 366 days or 365 days. These round-the-clock care required. Also, loss of mobility, difficulty performing functions such as swallowing as well. So he also cannot swallow, is having problems, dysphagia. We call it dysphagia. This is having problems regarding swallowing and so on. So must be, someone must help him. I will go just right now to open this link and see what is this link about. And check out, I put for you the link here, but we will take the main points and we will talk about the 7 stages of the dementia, what to expect in these 7 stages. So the first stage here, the stage 1, no cognitive decline. There is no cognitive decline. Actually here, no cognitive decline. So there's nothing. A person is simply, at this stage, the persons can function normally and exhibits no signs of memory losses, confusion, or cognitive impairment. Nothing, everything is fine. However, the structure and the functioning of their brains may have started, look at this, started to deteriorate. It's in the start of the deterioration itself. In their brains start to lose connections with other brains and cells and die. Okay, so this stage now is nothing like to just to report about, but still there are some problems with the patient or still in the beginning itself, but there is no signs like signs of forgetting or whatever. No. The second stage, very mild cognitive stage. Actually, the 7 stages which we talk about in the PowerPoint, the slides before, we talk about 3 main stages. Here, it's split into 7 stages, but the ideas are the same. But divided the mild into many types, divided the late into many types, divided the moderate into many types. That's the point. So 3 or 7, but the 7 are more detailed than the 3. But the 3 is all-inclusive as well. So very mild cognitive decline. The person starts to experience occasional lapse of memory. Here he will start to go for problems with his memory. So as example, forgetting where they kept familiar everyday objects. I forgot where I put the keys. I forgot where is my shoes. I forget where is my wallet or purse, and so on. Second, forgetting names of new very well things. Oh, this name, this is a spoon or what? This is a fork. I start to put our plates, alternate names, and so on. At this stage, the symptoms are unlikely to affect the person's work or social interaction. In here, everything is fine. Everything is still fine in this stage. We are still on the progress from 0 to 1. In fact, the symptoms may even be too mild to detect in a clinical interview with the healthcare provider, as the person may be able to adequately perform memory tests during the interview. So as example for the Muslims, how many prayers you have every day? What the time of, what can you arrange for me the prayers in system, morning, the afternoon, and so on. That's okay. What comes first, January or February, and so on. This is the test. The healthcare provider will make a test in this stage. The third stage is mild cognitive decline. Mild cognitive, conceptual. Cognitive is conceptual decline. So, and this is and mild, so that not too much. It's not too much here. So mild cognitive decline. This is the stage which cognitive impairment starts to become more noticeable to the patients, their friends, family members, and colleagues. So now everybody it's remarkable now. The he's forgetting more, and so on, he's forgetting more. And so everybody noticed it. Everybody noticed that the patient is forgetful now. He forgets. This person may start to show symptoms such as getting lost while walking or driving, reading something and retaining very little of it. So I can't remember what I read. I read something, but I can't remember what did I read. Forgetting the names of people they have just met. Okay, hi Tom, how are you? Hi Tom, how are you? Then after a minute, I forgot what's his name, what the guy's name, just on the spot, or soon as I left him. Losing items of importance or values. This is having trouble concentrating and performing complex tasks. Experiencing increasing difficulties in social setting. Frequency forgetting words and the names of the loved ones. So I forget the name of my son, or I forget the name of my cousin or nephew. Performing poorly at work at the extent that it becomes evident to colleagues. Everybody now from my colleagues notice that I have a poor memory, that my memory is getting deteriorated. Everybody's saying his memory is not nice. Now it's very remarkable in this stage. The person may start to feel anxious as the symptoms begin to become apparent and interfere with their ability to function. Stage 4, moderate cognitive decline. Moderate cognitive decline. In this stage, the person will exhibit definitive decline in cognitive. Here, definitive is very clear. Decline in cognitive ability in clinical interview. Some of the symptoms of this stage include lack of knowledge of current and recent events, difficulty remembering, and this is very bad sign, parts of their own personal history also, trouble with organizing, planning, traveling, and managing finances. At this stage, the person will likely still be able to recognize the loved ones, names and faces, and negative familiar places. However, they may start to avoid challenge situations to prevent anxiety and hide their distress from the others. They start like feel embarrassed, feel he don't want to show himself like in this figure to the others. Stage 5. Moderately severe cognitive decline. Moderately severe. So the last one was moderate. But here the moderate is increasing to become a severe. So here, from the start itself, nothing. Then very mild. Then mild cognitive. Then become to moderate. Then the moderate becomes severe. Moderate but severe cognitive decline. Here, from this stage on, the person may no longer be able to function without some assistance. Here, partially assistance or not 100% independent. There is also a partially dependent. These are some of the symptoms of the stage. Difficulty recalling vital details such as the address, phone number, or high school. I forgot about his address. For that reason, when I was working in some residential retirement residentials, Usually, we were very scared about if someone opened the door and go out. And it happened many times. So we usually put inside his wallets or inside his pockets the address of the retirement residence home, so that if he even got lost in a bus or got lost anywhere, people will see the paper, then they will return him back if someone found him, dismissing his way. This orientation in terms of place and time and confusion regarding decision, date, and day of the week, difficulty counting back words 20 by 25 from 4S to by 4S proved that they are dedicated and were once able to do these calculations. So like as example, if you multiply 4 by 5, I don't know that this will give 20. 4 by 5. So this also, and also problems in decision making as well. Remember, we said that in this stage is partially independent. The case is a partially independent. We'll move into stage 6, which is severe cognitive decline. Severe cognitive decline. In this stage, at this stage, the person may require a high degree of care and so on. Difficulty remembering the names of the spouses, children, primary caregivers. Lack of awareness regarding all the recent events. Patchy or skewed relocations of their early life. Difficulty counting backwards. So as example, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He cannot count these. Lack of awareness regarding their surroundings. Inability to travel alone without assistance. Tendency to wander. This person is likely experience emotional and personal changes, such as the paranoia, hallucinations, and delusions behavior, such as talking to themselves. They start to talk to themselves, or believing their caregivers are trying to harm them. So I think that my PSW, in this stage, they think that the PSW or the healthcare provider is trying to kill them, or they might understand they have hallucinations and have the delusions behavior, and they might think that they are the people are trying to hurt them or so on. Observe symptoms such as repeatedly performing cleaning activities, agitation, anxiety, and violent behavior, loss of willpower due to being unable to carry through long enough to complete the action. The stage 6, during the stage, the person is likely to still remember their names, even though he still remembers his name or her name, and distinguish between familiar and unfamiliar people. He can know who's familiar for him, who's a new face for him or new whatever. In their environment, they will probably need assistance with daily life, the ADL, the grooming, the hair grooming, the walking or mobility, the dressing, feeding, and so on. The ADL, shaving for men, hairdressing for ladies, and so on. All these things they will need assistance in. Now, they won't be able to do it by themselves, and may experience incontinence to sleep-related difficulties. Also, insomnia and no sleeping. Sleeping is very hard in this stage. Stage 7, very severe cognitive decline. And this is the last stage where the decline, the cognitive decline or conceptual declines will be very, very deteriorated. In the final stage, the brain appears to lose its connections to the body and becomes incapable of telling the body what to do. Mostly the brain lost its function. The person is likely to progressively lose their motor skills. They won't be able to move, and the ability to speak, and even to speak. They may only be able to utter unintelligible sounds or words, if at all. If they might do, and they might not do. They will need assistance with the personal care tasks, such as eating, walking, and using the bathroom. These are the 7 stages of the dementia in more details than the 3 stages which we discussed before. So you guys, here the link. I left for you the link here. We go also based on the here is the anatomy problems in the skill brain and the brain for the stages of the dementia. So we had mild cognitive impairment here. The duration is 7 years. Disease begins in medial temporal lobe. So start here. The symptoms: short-term memory loss. That's in the mild cognitive. Mild Alzheimer, because this, the duration of it is 2 years. This is for the Alzheimer, which is 70% of the dementia cases. Alzheimer is 70 to 80% of the dementia cases. This happened. So duration is 2 years here for the mild Alzheimer, takes 2 years. Disease is spread to lateral temporal, to the lateral temporal here. This is not the frontal temporal, this is the lateral temporal. Here it starts in the middle, here it goes in the frontal, in the lateral temporal, and partial loops, and the partial loops as well. But the symptoms here include reading problems, poor object recognition, and poor direction sense. This is the second stage, or the second case. The third stage is moderate Alzheimer. The duration here is 2 years. Now it goes from the back into the front of the brain. This is the back of the brain. It goes from the back of the brain here into this stage. It goes to the front part of the brain. Disease spreads to the frontal lobe. Top symptoms here in this area include poor judgment, impulsivity, and short attention. What about the severe Alzheimer here now? Duration of 3 years. Disease spread to occipital lobe here. Oh, it goes into here. Symptoms include visual problems, even visual problems as well, and the ability to move and so on from the things which we saw talking. Let me just now go ahead into another points again to review with you some of the points of early warning signs of dementia. Memory losses, misplacing items, we talk about it, disorientation, like getting lost in familiar places. The disorientation, like getting lost in familiar places. There's microwave things which I used to do before. I can do now, why? Repeating words or sentences, problem finding the right words of the following conversation. Take care, this is in the early warning signs. In the early warning signs of dementia. You can see here warning signs of dementia: forgetfulness, repeating themselves, sudden changes in mood, like instead of going easygoing person, he goes into a tempered person or a very mood or anger person. They can speak, and personality changes. Still we are in the dementia's early stages. Problems with common tasks like cooking, driving, loss of interests, poor judgment, change in the mood. Change in the mood here. But when it grew, like it goes into the progression of dementia, it happened these things like substituting unusual words with unforgetting. I forgot that the name, this is a spoon. I will say about it knife, or I will say about it any name. Forgetting English if it was a second language, and speaking only the native language. This is very nice. So here, you cannot talk in your own you cannot talk in second language. Forget the second language because it's part of the memory, but still you can talk with your own native language. The third point, forgetting recent events, samples, and so on, things of every day which I used to do. Cursing or swearing, misplacing items, putting things in odd places, having difficulties using debit cards, and so on. Giving as example, I can't remember the passwords. I don't know how to insert the things which I used to do in the past. It's difficult for me to do it now. Not recognizing or understanding numbers, having difficulty following conversation, having difficulty reading. Okay. Apraxia, including the impairment in daily life activities. So don't forget the word apraxia. Apraxia means that I got difficulty in every day's activities. I forgot what I'm doing in ADL. Disturbing others. Being stubborn. We said there's a behavior changes. Stubborn is one of them. Withdrawing from the society, which means dropping the social needs. Being restless. Becoming suspicious. Becoming fearful. Not wanting to do anything. Sleeping more than usual. Still, we are talking about the problems or the symptoms of the dementia in its moderate stages and in its starting the severe stages. Having difficulty writing, becoming lost even in familiar setting, forgetting where they are, wandering from home means they don't know how to get home back, not knowing how to get back home, not being able to tell or understand time, not being able to tell or understand dates, not being able to handle everyday tasks, leaving the iron or stove burns, like for example, leaving the stuff without putting it off, impairment of the skills motor system, like as example, he cannot walk, he forgot to walk, he forgot to turn himself, and so on. Before I go to the end of this part, and before we start a new parts, let's say here we'll have a new slide, and this slide will be for the question, what are the symptoms and signs of each stage of dementia? What are the signs and symptoms and signs of each stage of the dementia? I'll just keep this question right now for you guys here for around 5 minutes to get the answer. Please write the answer inside your notebooks. You may Google search as well beside what is written here in this PowerPoint slides. And I just want you to write it for yourself. If there's something we didn't cover here, just try to cover it as well. You can divide it into 3 stages or 2 detailed 7 stages, as I mentioned here in this tutorial video. I'll be waiting here like around 5 minutes for you guys to collect your answers. You don't need to send me the answers. You don't need to send it to me. Just in case, I just want you to have a notebook and write down the answer of these questions, because this work is a work for you to get the knowledge. So you prepare yourself like writing, what did we get and what we will have, what the problems which will happen when a person has dementia and the stages of them. Thank you so much. We'll wait here like around 5 minutes. And the question is here again. And it's also bold so that you can see it, guys. Here it is. We are here now. And symptoms of each stage of the dementia. Thank you.